Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Campfire Conversations. I'm Meanderin Mitch, and this is Carla. And she's our very first guest for Campfire Conversations, and I think this should be a fun kickoff. But before we get started, I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to set the scene. And actually, Carla's going to set it for you. Carla?
Okay, picture this. You are out in the country. It's dark. You can see what feels like every star in the sky. And you're sitting around a big bonfire. And you're looking around and you've got all your favorite people around you. Everybody's sitting there chattering away. And then you're sitting next to one of your best friends or someone you just met, and you just fall into one of those conversations where it goes anywhere and everywhere, and it's just one of those great moments in life.
All right. Let's get started for today. I'm going to cheat for this because this is our first podcast. So excuse this part, but I do have a couple questions written down. Actually, you have a couple questions written down that I'm going to go off of. Before we get into anything too deep, I want you to tell us, what is your single favorite piece of camping equipment?
Useful camping equipment?
Could be a luxury, could be a necessity, could be whatever the very most important thing that comes to mind is.
I don't know that I would consider this super useful. I mean, it is, but it's my favorite thing that I love bringing on every trip I go on. Mm-hmm. And it's my Campfire adventure mug.
Oh, nice. The Carla's adventure mug?
Yeah.
Okay, I probably should have guessed that, actually.
It just brings me right where I'm supposed to be.
That's the mug you have for today's little toast at the end, right?
It is, yeah.
Nice. Nice. So if you're watching, you'll get to see it. If you're not, maybe you should go watch it so you can get to see it. All right, we're going to keep it little tip related to start, and then we'll get into some actual deep conversations, just because I feel like if we start with that, we're never going to come back from it.
Yeah, no. So, we tend to meander.
Yeah, we meander through some conversations. How about your favorite camping meal?
Ooh. I love like a homemade pizza over the fire.
Ooh, a solid choice. I feel like that's not a very typical thing for camping for most people.
No, I don't think so. And it's actually a new one for me. I don't feel like I didn't do that as a kid.
Yeah.
But I really like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. What kind of toppings do you usually go for?
Pepperoni, mushroom, and banana peppers are my favorite.
All three, or like individually?
I mean, individually they're all good, but all three is my favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like if I have to think of like one camping thing, like one camping food that just takes me back to my childhood, I feel like I could go with like mountain pies.
That would be my second.
Yeah. Similarly though, I like the pizza ones.
That's the best.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the mountain pie that I think of.
Yeah, with like the butter, with the crust getting like buttery,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't use too much sauce. You have to use some sauce, but not too much.
Yeah.
Once you figure out the right proportions of everything, it's just And then don't burn it, which happens a lot with mountain pies.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a mountain pie is, you're missing out. I'll probably have a video of that.
What are they called?
They're called mountain pies.
Are they?
Yeah. 100%.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That is the PC version of whatever you're thinking. Actually, it's not the PC version. It's the OG version. And don't let her tell you otherwise.
It's not my OG version.
What do you call them, Carla?
We just grew up with them as being hobo pies.
That sounds offensive.
It probably is. I'm sorry.
There's someone out there who's offended right now.
But that's what I grew up at.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know if that's necessarily the. Oh, that's how I grew up. That's how it is. I feel like that's so dangerous.
It is. I'm not saying it's wrong. Wow, we're doing really great for this first episode.
Yeah. Cancel before we get started. Anyways, okay. So your adventure mug is your first piece, or your most important piece of gear, and pizzas are your favorite camping food.
Yeah.
Nice.
In pie form, in regular form.
Yeah. For those of you listening only, putting another piece of wood on the fire right now as we speak, so we can have a fire for our campfire conversation. I don't know that I have a favorite piece of camping gear. I feel like I rotate it a lot.
Yeah.
I did. It's gonna sound cheesy because they kind of sponsored us, but I've really been liking the fire maple lanterns.
Ooh, those are good.
They're very aesthetic.
Yeah.
I'm very much viewers for people listening. I guess I should say listeners, not viewers. But listeners, I don't know if you know this about me yet, but I'm very much about the aesthetic of whatever we're doing. So anything I can do to make it a little more vibey, I'm probably going to do it. And that usually ends up in me bringing way more gear than I need. But yeah, it's whatever. Okay, so we covered our gear, we covered our food. Maybe now we get into something a little bit deeper while you get blasted by smoke. Damn, we really got to cut this wood to work with the smokeless fire pit.
Yep, we sure do.
Maybe if we just kick it this way. Oh. Nope, it's saying, fuck you.
I'm just going to hide.
That's probably helping the viewers out too. Oh, shit! I'll cut that part out. Okay, so tell me what is the most impactful situation that comes to mind that involves being out in nature? It's like a moment where you can just think back and picture it and how it might have changed your view on something or someone or the world in general. Do you have a specific moment that kind of resonates with that?
I feel like I have a lot of those moments. I feel like there's some big ones and small ones that like have built on each other. But the first one that popped into my mind when you asked that was in 2020, when most of the world was shut down. My family has property out in Pennsylvania, and I wanted to go camping. And I'd been bitching about not having people to go camping with. And one of my best friends bought me like a cheap $35 tent, almost as a joke, for my 30th birthday. And she's like, here, now you have a tent, like you can go camping. And I took it out to my family's property by myself. And I've camped my whole life, but I had never camped by myself. And I knew how to set up a tent, but I went out there, I set up my tent by myself, and it's dark out there, like real dark. And I like being there, but it can definitely, you can scare yourself real easily being out there in the dark.
I see that.
And I set up my tent, and I ate my dinner, I had a fire, and I stayed there for a couple days by myself. And it was really impactful because I had been wanting, like I said, I've been wanting to go camping more, and I didn't really have people to go camping with. And doing that by myself, even though it was still like within my comfort zone of like, I knew the place, having nobody there was wildly out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I loved every single second of it. And it gave me that moment of like, I can do this, whether it's by myself, whether it's with people, like I can do this.
Oh, that's really cool.
Thanks.
What do you think?
I'm not crying from that story.
Sure. Yeah, this wind is not cooperating the greatest with us right now.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah, kind of an extra layer of shooting a podcast is shooting a podcast outside with a unpredictable variable such as the smoke and wind. So
yeah, and dogs.
Yeah, the dogs in the background, the dirt bike they just drove past. That's great. But it's hitting you right now, not me. So hopefully I say that and it switches to me. But anyways. No, it is really cool to be out in nature and kind of have that feeling of, hey, I'm doing this by myself.
Yeah.
I do think that's a very important thing for people to experience. You know, myself growing up, I've always had a support system. I was lucky enough to have a support system, and I caught myself leaning on them throughout a lot of my life. Where you know, worst case scenario, I got mom and dad, or I got my brothers, or I have my small group of friends, or whoever you have, or you might have, or might not have. It changes by person.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a certain empowerment that comes with, I'm here. I'm my lifeline.
Yeah.
I need to do it myself, and I think that's a really cool. It's a really cool feeling when you first experience that, and I think it's important for people to experience it.
Right.
I think that's something that definitely was experienced a lot more before our generation.
Yeah.
But the easier things get, the more important I think it is to remind ourselves that we can do the difficult things or the uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
So, very relatable.
Thanks.
No, so that was your favorite or most impactful, rather, solo story. Do you have a... I mean, you're tearing up already. I haven't even asked the question.
I mean, that's probably accurate.
Do you have a go-to or a favorite story that involves a group of people, whether it be big or small, or maybe just another person? Just an impactful story camping.
It's so hard to pick. There's so many, especially over these last couple of years. I think my most impactful was probably a couple years ago, 2022. I went to my first event with a bunch of strangers camping in the woods. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm trying to fix this real quick.
Ow.
And I burnt our first guest. That's a good start. Other guests, I promise this never happens.
Good luck. Wear
Okay,
better pants.
You're gonna need it. Yeah. Those are your Sunday jeans. Very holy.
My mom would ask if I paid for these.
You got a discount, right?
I think that was my most impactful event with people is, I went to an event and there were like, I don't know, 15, 20 of us. And we'd all been talking in like an outdoor community for 6 weeks or so. Some of us talking a lot, getting to know each other. And we went for a hike. And then we camped for the night. And it was March. It was freezing. I'm pretty sure it might have snowed at some point. My tent is not great for snow. Yeah. But again, it was a moment where it was like, okay, even though I don't have a lot of friends who camp, or are capable of going camping because of life, like I can go out, meet people who like to do the same things I like to do and be safe and have fun. And I think why it was so impactful was because it then led to, I mean, honestly, my life now, like 2 years of camping with people and meeting my best friends.
Yeah. That's really cool. I think, so I'm going to cheat because I know what you're talking about. But I'm going to ask for the viewers, what outdoor group are you talking about?
I joined, God, what is it even called now?
Oh, shit. It's changed like 15
Like
times.
so many times.
It's called Outsiders.
It's Outsiders Together. But I don't even...
I think it started out as like a singles group.
Yeah.
And it started out, or it changed to solo adventurers. And
Yeah.
I think it might be solo adventurers now.
Yeah.
But I don't,
Right.
I'm not 100% certain. But Outsiders Together is the group you're talking about. Yeah, similarly, I think it's also changed my life in a lot of ways. It's really cool to be a part of a group that gets so many people together and kind of encourages the randomness of strangers camping together. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really neat.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I think one of the coolest things about that group is it pushed me to get outside more. And as that year went on, like I went through a really, really hard time in my life. And having this group was so great because even though most people had zero idea of what I was going through, it was an excuse for me to get outside.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go outside. I really didn't even want to get out of bed, but I had a camping trip coming up. So I was going camping. And in that camping trip, the rest of the world disappeared. I was laughing and having fun and being outside and jumping out of my comfort zone, like literally off a cliff into water and just doing all these really cool things. And I feel like because I had that community and because I had pushed myself to do things like that, it got me through a really hard time.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Thanks.
It's cool. I'm sure you found it the same way that I did, which is basically just randomly.
Yeah.
But it's funny how stuff like that seems to just meander its way into our lives at the right time. Shameless plug. But yeah, no, it's funny how that finds us when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And not to get overly cheesy, because this hasn't been that cheesy of an episode yet.
Yeah.
But I do think that, especially when you're connecting with nature and the people around you, it seems like that happens a lot more often when you're really like grounded in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like just things happen that are supposed to happen when they're supposed to happen. And that's really cool. It's really cool to see it happen, but it's really cool to experience it for yourself. I think that this group that group, Outsiders, has helped a lot of people experience that at a time where it seems like everyone needed it.
Yeah.
And I think that's my favorite part about the community aspect is solo is great. I think there's a lot of very, very important things to be learned about solo traveling and camping and adventures or whatever you're going to do. Solo, there's a lot of stuff to learn.
Yeah.
But I think it is equally as important to be able to connect with a group of people, or a group of people could be, one other person, two other person, whatever it's going to be. I think both of us are the kind of people that we've connected with a lot more than that.
A lot. You want to get 50 people to go camping tomorrow?
Yeah,
okay.
Really. By the time this comes out, we will probably have already gone to our next camping trip, but our next camping trip is almost 50 people, and it is, it's a Halloween party, so like that one's going to be a little bit of a different vibe, but they're all camping friends, and we're just going to go hang out and get drunk in the woods and be a bunch of goofballs.
Yep,
with
pretty much.
People we met camping, but for a Halloween party, which I'm curious to see how that's going to look. But yeah, I just think it's kind of neat.
It's really neat.
Okay, last question for the episode. I'd say take as long as you want, but I don't know if the viewers have that kind of time. So maybe give me a shorter summary than you would like to. But what is your ideal weekend in nature look like? You're leaving on Friday. Let's say you're leaving on Friday after work. You're coming back Sunday evening. Where does it look like?
Where?
What's it look like? And where?
Ooh, that's a hard question. Because I feel like, in so many ways, I feel like it depends on my mood, what I'm looking for. But I think my ideal, if I want to be around people, I think my ideal is like a group of like 5 to like 15 people that I'm like I'm really good friends with most of them. You know, maybe there's 1 or 2 new people. Carpooling. I like carpooling. Like, let's put some music on. Let's have essentially a campfire conversation in the car. Let's not talk, whatever. And the destination is kind of a funny thing. Like, I love exploring new places. I love seeing new towns. Like, give me the mountains, give me a good hiking spot, give me water. But at the same time, like, there's this balance of like, let's go somewhere new, but also when I'm with the right people, I really don't care where we go.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how I approach most of my trips. Sometimes it's like, yes, I want to go to this specific place and I want to see this specific thing, but like, I'm pretty go with the flow in most situations. And I feel like with the right people, it's like, yeah, we're going to go here and we're going to hike and we're going to eat and we're going to laugh and probably do stupid, funny shit and have a really good time. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of doesn't answer the question.
I know,
all,
it doesn't
does
really.
At the same time. No, yeah, I for those of you that don't do this a lot, that probably didn't make any sense.
Yeah, sorry.
But that is exactly how I feel about it.
Right.
Like, I would say my ideal group is a little bit larger. I like big groups of people.
I know you do.
I kind of thrive off of group energy. Being able to, bounce around to 30 different people and have 30 different conversations on 30 very different topics is fun to me.
Yeah.
And some of those conversations are lighthearted. Some of them are serious.
Right.
But that definitely fuels me a little bit, which I think a lot of our friends have similarly, where sometimes big groups are fine. Other times, fuck off.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I want to have my small group, my couple friends, and it's a little different.
I feel like it's nice because, like, I like a bigger group a couple times a year. But I also feel like with our bigger groups, there's always like the big group when you want the energy and you want to be floating around all the people. But then there's also usually like a smaller group, not in like a cliquey way, but just in like okay, like I just want to chill and like just be around a couple people. There's usually like that option. Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add? Anything you'd like to tell the viewers before we do our little outro here?
I mean, we could talk about this kind of stuff and all the kind of stuff for way too many campfire conversations.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I feel like the biggest thing is just, I love getting outside. I love being in nature. I love camping. But especially over these last few years, like, finding people to go camping with, like, it's cheesy, but like literally has saved my life. Like, it's gotten me through hard things. It's gotten me doing really cool things that I would never have done in a million years growing up, pushed me out of my comfort zone. And like, if you're on like that fence, or you're nervous or worried about meeting new people or doing outdoorsy things, like, I cannot recommend it enough, because I mean, you get to sit outside and feel the breeze and, get smoke in your face and hang out with really cool people. And you never know what you're going to find yourself doing, but in like the best way possible.
Just for the record, you are not sitting around a campfire if you don't get smoke in your face at least 50% of the time.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Right. Like if you don't have to get up and move your chair at least once, like what are you doing?
You haven't actually experienced camping.
Right?
No. If we did this properly, the smokeless would be really nice.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine.
I actually planned this perfectly. So I wanted you to have smoke in your face the whole time. So you're welcome for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I love crying on camera.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not the first time. Probably won't be the last.
Probably not.
No. Well, Carla, thank you for participating in this episode of Campfire Conversations. I would like to do a little toast with Schmallow.
Oh my God.
Don't call it mellow. It's
Don't do that.
Schmallow. Toasted marshmallow bourbon. We're going to do a little shot of it, if you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Good, because you were doing one of yours. You have your adventure mug ready.
I do.
I will make sure we don't pour that. I don't want to pour you. I'm bad at pouring shots and not shot glasses. So enjoy your 2 shots.
This is my mug that I talked about. It comes with me everywhere.
This is my Meanderin glass that someone made me.
Yeah, someone really cool made you that.
I would say really cool. Kind of cool.
Okay.
But on a slightly serious note, this cheers is to Carla.
Damn it, now I'm going to cry.
The smoke. This has been covering it up the whole time. For those of you that don't know, Carla is a behind-the-scenes person for Campfire Conversations and for Meanderin Mitch. And she has helped tremendously in the adventure that has been so far. And she is the reason that we are currently recording this episode. So, Carla, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And that's all I got. It scares me how much I like that.
It's way too good.
It is
way too good. We're going to need to find more.
Yes. This was the last bottle that they had, or that the store had. Well, Kroger's.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen this before. If you are connected to this distillery, that's the word, in any way, and you'd like to send us a lot more of it.
Yeah, a lot more of it, please.
We will drink it. As much as you want. But I would recommend that one.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Regardless.
And whiskey isn't my favorite.
Yeah. Notes of smoke, caramel, and camaraderie.
Yeah, there's notes of smoke already.
That last word was a big word for me. I'm like, whoa, I panicked so hard. All right. Anyways, that is all we have for today's episode. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button to stick around or bookmark this podcast. I don't know how that works because I'm a big podcast guy on different platforms.
You can save it.
Yeah. We'll save it for later. Keep watching. Watch the next episode if you're watching this a little bit from now. But we really enjoyed having this conversation with you, and we hope you enjoyed as well. Until next time, I think I can say we appreciate you. You want to do it with me? 1, 2, 3.
Peace.